Welcome to Wealth Strategies Unleashed with Concenture Wealth Management. I'm Robert Gilliland.
I'm Mike Alexander.
Welcome, everyone. Now that we're into 2024 and a lot of people are thinking about retirement, we have the baby boomers getting older. We have more and more people getting closer and closer to that age where they're going to say, raise the hands, call mercy and say, I'm out of here. I'm retired. Mike, what I want us to talk about today is what are 4 things that people can think about or do in 2024 in order to help ensure that their retirement is the very best that it can be?
I think the first one that comes to my mind, Robert, is always just making sure that you've maximized those contributions. There's so many ways that you can save for retirement. A variety of types of vehicles that you can utilize, whether it's 401k, IRA, traditional IRA, or Roth IRA, just a number of ways to be able to maximize what's going to be there for you in retirement.
I mean, that one's fantastic. And when you're doing that, making sure you're taking advantage of catch-up provisions, right? If you're old enough to be able to make catch-up contributions inside of there, making contributions to traditional IRAs or Roth IRAs, making sure that your spouse is doing the same, getting all of those things in line, I think absolutely makes a lot of sense. There's one I'm going to throw out there. We may end up doing more than 4. My goal was to just say 4, but we may have a bonus one here or there. I think one of the things that people can do at the first part of the year that will help ensure that retirement can be the best it can be for them is sit down and review their retirement plan. Now, what I mean by that, and Mike, we say this all the time to people. Okay, you're going to retire. Well, what are you going to do when every day is a Saturday? What's going to fill your day, right? And so not just the numbers on your retirement plan, but how often are you going to travel really? Have you adequately budgeted for that? That's where the numbers come in. But just go back and make sure. And if there's a shortfall, then work with someone to develop a strategy to help overcome that shortfall. It's amazing. A lot of people that I talk to, and Mike, I know you've had conversations that are similar. They say, yeah, when do you want to retire? They say yesterday. Okay, that's awesome. Let's figure. And then their next question is, can I? And I always say, well, it's going to depend on your quality of life or what your standard of living, what it's going to cost you. And then I ask them, let's step forward. So you've retired today. 6 months from now, you've gone through 6 months where every day is a Saturday. What are you doing to fill your day? And I think the most important aspect in retirement planning is really having something you're passionate about to go and do. So I think that one of the things you can do to make sure that your retirement is the best it can be is to sit down and review your plan, not just the numbers, but what you're going to do and what your goals are. Clearly, you have to spend time on the numbers, make sure you have a strategy for how you're going to create that income, but you've got to spend time. And if you not failing to plan is really a plan that is designed to fail.
You know what, Robert, you really touched on something that I think comes up a lot in conversations, and it's never too soon to start thinking about those things. And as you talk about, you're not really talking about the numbers and the quantitative part. You're talking about really the qualitative parts, and that, that quality of life, and whether or not someone who's either in retirement or approaching retirement has kind of built those social support systems that are in place. Like, it's great if you can retire, but if your buddies aren't retired, there's not too many people to play golf with or fish with or whatever the case may be. So there's some of those things that are out there, and it really does make sense. And then I think the other thing that it perhaps dovetails into what you said is, maybe an evaluation of health, like how am I doing physically? I want to be retired. I can afford to retire. Am I healthy enough to where, I can do the things that actually match my retirement plan? So I hope that's not stealing too much thunder. Maybe they'll be considered as bonus offerings out there, but just some things that kind of you jogged my memory and made me think about.
Yeah, I think that those are all really, really, really good points. One of the things that I think that as you're looking in 2024 that you should potentially do and think about is going back and evaluating Social Security and Medicare if you're not already collecting. Make sure you understand what it means if you take Social Security early. Make sure you understand what the costs are going to be around Medicare. Making sure that you understand what the opportunities are if you delay taking Social Security. Understand the basics when it comes to Social Security. A lot of people say, oh, don't even think about Social Security. It's not going to be there. Well, the reality is for a married couple, assume they're both age 65, the cash flow on that is worth over $1 million, assuming one of them makes it to 90, and there's an 80% chance one of them is going to make it to 90. So Social Security is a real asset, understanding about that. And if you go and do that and do it early, it's going to make your retirement that much better.
It's a great one. It's a great one, Robert. And, again, I hate to continue to piggyback off of your commentary here, but
you're getting heavy, but that's okay. I'm used to it.
That's okay. I know you don't mind carrying me this time, but one of the things I think that kind of dovetails again into that, and that is thinking about, diversifying sources of income. You mentioned Social Security, as being a way to drive some of your income. But, a lot of times when you head into retirement or you're already retired, you have to start thinking of, okay, I've had assets that were designed for growth, but they don't really pay me income, and they certainly don't pay it on a regular basis. So maybe I have to start thinking about my portfolio a little bit different because I want it to be able to generate, the income for our needs, wants, and anything additional that I might need.
Yeah, the way that I would have worked with, the way I would say that, which is really what I think you're saying is make sure you understand that you have an income plan, right? Whether that is what are your sources for income, or are there opportunities to invest in other sources for income, or what's the most efficient way to generate that income? Because most people are really, really good at accumulation. If I have extra money, I'm going to get it invested. But now when you're in the depletion or the income distribution phase, that takes a little bit different, and making sure you have that plan in place. So the fourth, and I think we probably have given 6 bonuses that Mike, by the way, I think you're MVP of this podcast because you have added several extra bonuses inside here. So great job. And you kind of hit on this. I think that, and in fact, I just recently read a book called Outlive, and in this book it talks about the things that shorten people's lives or quality of life. Right? You have cardiovascular, your heart attack. We'll just call it heart attack. Then you have diabetes. Then you have Alzheimer's, and I forget what the fourth horseman is. So it goes to tell you that. Must have been speed reading. The reality is that the cure for all of the negative things that causes people's enjoyment of life to shorten all have to do with their health. So when you go through and you think about this, right, and you're thinking about retirement and thinking about making retirement what you want it to be, there's some things that are vitally important. One is making sure your health is in good order. Whether that's visiting a doctor and getting all that, or whether it is setting up an exercise program. But there's another component to that, and that's the mental aspect of retirement. And I think that's vitally important. Your enjoyment and success in retirement is going to really come around what sort of social network or social groups so that mentally you continue to be stimulated and you're engaged. And for some people that might be consulting or things like that. But I think that one of the things that in 2024 you can start to focus on that's going to make your retirement is the best it can be is by focusing on your health, both mental and physical health, as well as your wealth. And if you go and you do that, you're not too young. I hate to sound so foo-foo-y, but you're never too young to start to focus on those things. And what that can do is extend and enhance the enjoyment of life and retirement.
I don't think I could have said it better.
Well, with that, I mean, I'm just going to mic drop right there and say thank you. Thanks for joining me again this week, Mike. I want to say thank you to everyone for listening. I know there has to be at least one thing that was of value here. I look forward to seeing you all next week. And if there's anything we can do, give us a shout.
See you next time.